Hi, welcome back to Forbidden Grief, a judgment-free zone for moms whose child died while doing something that society says is shameful, whether that was in the middle of committing a crime or by committing suicide or anything else that triggers guilt and shame and judgment within the mom and society as a whole. Uh, Delores Garcia came upon a photo album today of childhood pictures of her late son, Miguel. And it's been a day of memories and tears. And so we're going to have a healing conversation to look at what's coming up and see what the angels can help with. So, do you want to tell us how it's going and what's going on today?
Yeah, and so I was cleaning off my desk, yay for me. And this photo album, I'll just show you. This little photo album is just a little simple one that Hector's, who is Miguel's dad, my late former husband, his sister had made, got for my kids when they were little, probably like 5 years old. And when I packed Miguel's room up after the event, this little photo album was sitting right next to his bed, and he had it all the time. Like all of his childhood stuff, he had packed up in a closet in a different room, but this was sitting in there. And so when I was cleaning off my desk this morning, I saw it and I thought, you know what? I'm going to thank Aunt Lisa, for loving my kids and giving him a gift that now gives to me. And it's kind of interesting, Sue, because I cry just as much when I'm flooded with gratitude and happiness and love as when I'm sad. And so it's like, are these happy tears or sad tears? But I think today they're very, very happy. There's some sadness in there, but just to share my gratitude with my sister-in-law, who took care of my kids and loved them, and now this is taking care of me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Why do you think Miguel kept this album by his bed when everything else was packed away?
It's interesting to look at the pictures that he had in there. And I'll admit there was a little flash of mother guilt of, oh, why didn't I let him really choose pictures and like consciously do that? I think it seemed like he kind of incidentally got these pictures. Man, if I had do-overs, I would be like, which pictures do you love best? Let's print these out for your photo album. And I would do it very intentionally and very consciously. But they were just very, very sweet pictures. And
well, let's stop right there for a moment, because that what if and the shoulda, woulda, coulda thing is such a great way to torture yourself and a hard way to go through life. So let's pull that out of your space, because the simple fact that he had put everything else away and kept this by his bed tells us, that these pictures were important to him. So there was nothing wrong with the assortment of photos in that photo album. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that way that you're beating yourself up right now, the angels just want to dissolve that pattern that would have you making yourself wrong in any way for what this was, because clearly it was meaningful to him. So anything in the way of you knowing, being, receiving, and perceiving that, let's uncreate, delete, dissolve, and dissipate all of that programming. Setting you free of that forevermore, allowing you to really feel the truth of these photos meant a lot to Miguel, as they mean a lot to you.
Yeah.
And pointing out that he's looking at the photos through you right now as you look at them.
Yeah. So when I was up in Sedona, which is a very sacred place to me and to many people, and I grounded some of his cremains up there, and I had chosen a picture out of this little photo album to, take a picture of his little memorial that I made for him, and I feel that very much in my heart. I'm going to go to California to the beach with my daughter in a couple of weeks, and I've already chosen another picture because I'm going to release some of his cremains out in the ocean, and just to go through this photo album of these special pictures that he had collected, and so thank you for dissolving the shoulda, coulda, wouldas, and that I had done anything wrong. I would just like to allow my child the privilege of choosing those pictures and the ones that were meaningful to him. Yeah.
And there's nothing to say that he didn't actually do that as an adult or an older child. Like, he may have taken out the pictures that weren't meaningful to him. He may have rearranged this photo album.
Yeah.
Yeah. He made it his own, for sure.
Yeah.
Are you releasing the pictures? Are you leaving them at the site with his cremains, or are you taking a picture to memorialize it for yourself and holding on to the precious fact?
Yes. Yeah. Because there's some of them that, gosh, I would have no idea where a negative is or a duplicate. I would, just have to make sure I took a picture of it. But yeah. Sweet little buddy.
Yeah. So let's explore that a little bit, because I'm sure there are people watching who know the story, right? That Miguel fatally stabbed his father and then was shot and killed by the neighbor after he tried to break into the neighbor's house. So there are a lot of people out there who are wondering how you, the mom, could be saying, sweet little boy, sweet little buddy. Tell us what it's like to tune into those sweet and innocent memories of his childhood, and how does that feel today?
There's a little bit of dissonance, I'll tell you that, is that I can look at those pictures and I can remember those memories and other memories that I have. And it's getting more and more that the sweetness of my little boy is there, but there's often, always, regret of what I could have done more as a mom, or I should have done. So we're back on that train, and being able to give myself grace that I did the best that I could, given all of the factors that were playing and imposing down on me at that time. And so really leaning into that grace of and believing that I really was doing the best that I could. So that's still, Sue, you and I have talked about that and worked with that, but it still challenges me a little bit, and really, really believing that I did do my best. And, maybe we can work on that a little bit more right now, that did I do my best? Like, what does that mean, do my best?
So it's so tied into the shoulds, right? Should and supposed to are very much trying to figure out what other people think you should and be doing, and how you should be doing. And so we can never quite get a handle on what we should do or what we're supposed to be doing, because there's so many of them out there, and they all have different opinions, and they change their minds from moment to moment. So they don't even have a consistent opinion. So this do your best thing is tied into that same programming and judgment structure.
Yes.
So, and we can still, language is tricky, right? When we get to this stuff, because the English language is still somewhat limited, even though there's a lot of words in it. So what if we allowed you to know, be, receive, and perceive that you did the best you could in that moment? That if you could have done better, you would have done better, right? Like we've all heard that. It's a platitude, but it's true. If you had known how to do anything differently and better with Miguel, wouldn't you have done it differently and better? Like, did you consciously choose to not be a very good mom?
No, 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 no. So when you say it like that, that is a complete that comes into my space completely different. Could I have done different? Yes, I could consciously see that. But when you ask that question, did I consciously cause harm to my child? Oh, hell no. No, no, no. Like I know the answer to that.
So that knowing, we're going to anchor that deeply within you. And I am covered in waves of goosebumps. That is 100% true. The angels are jumping up and down in the truth of that. Anything in the way of you knowing, being, receiving, and perceiving that. Let's just dissolve all of that programming and judgment. Dissolving all of the belief systems and structures that are holding it in place. And allowing you to anchor in the truth of you did absolutely the best you knew how in every moment. And you talked about some of the things that were weighing down on you. You know, there were things that were happening in your life that you were doing your best to cope with. Again, we're back to that doing your best phrase. Just it's sort of it's the easiest way to phrase it. But in any moment in time, you were doing your best to be a mom given where you were in that moment. So there were some moments that you had more capacity and more bandwidth than others. There were some moments where you felt really relaxed and joyful, and it was easy to be the kind of mom that you wish you could be every moment of every day.
Yeah.
And there were some moments where you were stressed, and there were some moments where you were depressed. I mean, like serious depression. You were dealing with something that so many people deal with nowadays. Probably always. We're just more aware of it right now. So do you want to talk about that? About how is there anything there that you would like to dive into right now? No pressure at all.
Well, and you know, and I always reflect on that and try to give myself grace that I was struggling every day with depression, and it almost wasn't good days and bad days. It was bad days and worse days, and it boy, it made me so wrapped up in myself and not present with my children. And but to my credit, I never stopped trying to feel better, and that helps me get a grasp on. Um, I didn't do it on purpose. I didn't what I call neglect my children. I wasn't present with them. I wasn't really a
Let's
happy mom.
even let's even look at that, right?
Okay.
Because you were as present as you were able to be with
Yes.
them. You were not completely checked out. You were not locked in your room, under the covers, leave me alone, and they were
And
fending for themselves in the rest of the house.
no. Now there was this is a joke. Let's just lighten this up. There was one time I I was in my closet and I was cleaning out the closet, and Alejandra must have been 3, maybe 4. So Miguel was 6 or so. And we lived in a relatively new development. And I am cleaning the closet, and the kids are quiet. I thought they were playing out back. Honey, he had convinced her to get on her bike with training wheels, and at least they put their helmets on, and they rode their bikes about a mile to the grocery store. And yet it was a new development, but they had to go on the main road of that development. And oh my gosh, they went up there and bought some candy and they come back. And I'm like, hey, what are you guys doing? And they're like, hey, Mom, we bought you chocolate. And I am like, oh, like, where did you get that chocolate? And they're like, we went to Safeway. And I am like, oh, mother of the year. So, Sue, on a light note, if I checked out, it was usually cleaning and doing something like that. And it was, those kids remember it. Even Alejandra remembers it, and she was just little. And I was like, oh, you guys were so slick buying me chocolate so that you didn't get in trouble when you went to get your Cheetos. I don't know what you bought. And they're like, we looked both ways, and we wore our helmets, and we were safe. And I'm like, I had no idea my children were gone. Yeah.
So I'm pretty sure every mother on the planet has one of those stories, at least one. Whether I was in the store and my kids wandered off or whatever, everybody has that experience.
Yeah.
And I want to go back to that other experience of, you weren't locked in the room and leaving them to fend for themselves, because some of the moms watching this may have had that experience, right? We know that depression is real, and that sometimes it's all you can do to, just open your eyes and keep breathing.
Yes.
So no judgment on any of that. And recognizing that if you want to talk about mom of the year, your daughter at 2 years old knew to wear her helmet, to look both ways before she crossed the street, to go with her big brother, not to go by herself. Like, they were taking care of each other. They did something nice for you, like amazing things that show the kind of character and the kind of kids that they were, and that they were paying attention. And this is not a terrible story. Now, okay, you can beat yourself up for not knowing where they were every moment of every single day.
Yes.
And you can look at that and go, wow, they were incredibly capable at such a young age. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Really precocious, but really capable.
And you know what? And they took all their money and went up there. They didn't steal it. And she remembers, because he was 2 years older than her, she remembers that he didn't know how to count money. And so he just put all his money up there to the cashier. And I just, boy, that's a core memory for my kids, my family. You're right. I could stay in self-judgment and self-criticism for not knowing that my kids were gone. I really thought that they were next door because they played next door all the time. And I was just like, oh, I got to get this closet cleaned, So, yeah. Oh, let's be a little nicer to ourselves, okay?
That's a perfect example.
Yeah.
Because there's a million shoulda, woulda, couldas. There's a million moments when you look back over a child's life, and especially from this lens of how his life ended.
Yeah.
So let's give you grace, and let's give everybody watching grace that you were doing the best you knew how in that moment. I was literally looking up a Maya Angelou quote about this earlier, about, forgive yourself for not knowing what you didn't know until you learned it.
Yeah.
So dissolving that pattern of guilt and shame and self-judgment and self-blame and self-condemnation, and that scanning back through every moment of our lives to find what we did wrong, which is a huge program. So bringing ourselves back to memories, right? Like, that was a memory that you can hold as a heartwarming, funny memory, or as a memory that you use to terrorize yourself. And you have that power. You have that choice. So let's go back to those memories that were brought up today by looking through that little photo album. Were there any memories in there that were profound in any way?
Mostly I would look at his eyes and see if there was sadness in his eyes. And so you're very point on. is that on point that it, I'm looking back to see what was wrong and what was sad. And like, I'm looking at this one picture, and his baby teeth, he would grind his teeth. And as a little kid, and okay, maybe a lot of kids do that. Alejandro didn't do that, but he did that. And so I'm looking at, when did my child become so stressed? And even when he had all of his little baby teeth, is that he was stressed. And so you're exactly right that I'm looking back to see all the mistakes I made, all the things that I missed, all the things that I did wrong. Yeah.
Are you ready to stop doing it that way?
Yeah, because I want to look back, like on this one picture, he's making something out of Play-Doh and he's just like happier than a clam, but all I see is his little nubby teeth. Like, it's like, Miguel, if your teeth get any smaller, the tooth fairy is not going to pay you for those, because I mean, he would just grind his teeth. And yeah, so I would like to see the happiness in my child's eyes instead of his stressed teeth.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Anything in the way of that. Let's uncreate, delete, dissolve, and dissipate all of those lies, patterns, programs, entrainments, and enculturations, allowing you to see the joy in your child, allowing you to look at the photos as a gift and a blessing, and not as just another way to punish and torture yourself. Allowing his memory to be a blessing. And allowing you to really see and feel and connect with his joy. And as you do that, you will feel him looking at the pictures with you and through you. And you will feel his joy. He's not stressed now. When you're focused on his stress and his sadness, you can't feel him with you in the way that you can when you're focused on love.
And
And
you know what? You know how profound that is? Let's just pause right there, because I've been able to feel very connected to Hector. And for those that don't know the whole story, he's my ex-husband, but we had a very good relationship after the divorce, and very friendly, just friendly. It was a kind relationship. And I've been able to feel so much more connected to him. Miguel, I have not. And so me being able to clear that energetic block to him, because he is vibrating at such a high loving frequency, and I'm down here at shame and blame and guilt and criticism of myself, that there's no, is that's what's happening, that I cannot connect with him?
that's exactly it. That's exactly it. And it's the same with humans, with other people on the planet who are in physical still. When you're at joy and they're at shame and despair, like, you just can't have a conversation. You're too far apart vibrationally. Not saying that you should come down to shame and despair to be able to have a conversation with them. Like, there's somebody closer to where they are who can help them. And if it's your child, of course, we continue to try and help them in every way that we can think of. Not saying that you shouldn't try, but when you want to connect with somebody who's made their transition and they're in non-physical now, they are in joy. They are in unconditional love. And so the grief process and that getting stuck in the lower energies of grief can block our ability to feel them. It's not that they're not connecting with us. It's not that they're not right here. Non-physical is here. It's not up there or down there or wherever. It's here. It's all in one space. It's non-local. So non-physical is non-local. That kind of makes sense when you think about it that way. And sometimes the easiest way to connect with somebody who's made their transition is to focus on something that they were interested in. So, like, simple example, if they were really into golf, you could watch a golf tournament on TV, and it's easy to feel them with you enjoying that. Yeah. If they were into cooking, you can go in the kitchen and you can whip something up and you can feel them with you. What's coming up?
I'm just so thankful for this conversation, because I've been pleading to feel him. And I like there, it's not what I wish for. It's so this is the answer. This is at least one of the answers. And so um, when I did ground some of his cremains up in Sedona, I did very much feel him there, and because we liked to hike, and I have many pictures, even later in his life, of us out hiking, and so the truth of this is very profound to me. So thank you.
Yes. We also wanted to fine tune a little thing because you said you've been pleading to feel him and connect with him. And you can feel how the energy of pleading is so not a match to knowing and trusting and allowing. Like it's very focused on the lack. And so it's the same thing when you can't find your car keys and you're running all over the house. Where are my keys? Where are my keys? I can't find my keys. And the minute you like chill out because the phone rings or you have to, go answer the door or whatever, get something to eat. And then all of a sudden you look up and they're right there. Like they were sitting next to your purse the whole time and you just didn't see them because when you're in the energy of I can't find it, whether it's your car keys or somebody who's made the transition to non-physical, you can't find it. What you believe is true. I can't find it. I can't find it. I can't hear him. I can't feel him. I can't see him. I miss him.
Yeah.
So that's one of the trickiest things with grief, right? You're in that space of he's not here anymore and I really miss him. And so as we soften that, as you soften into I know he's right here. I may not be able to hug him. I may not be able to connect with him in the way I did before, but I know I can hear him. I know he can hear me. I know I can feel his love. I know he can feel my love. When you settle into the softness and the truth of that, then you can hear him.
Okay. Yeah. I appreciate being able, because I knew that word begging and pleading and yearning for, I mean, I could feel the vibration of that, but I just didn't know where to go, what was the energy that I really, would serve me the most.
And so trust is the energy. This feels like a good place to close our exploration of memories for the day.
Yes.
You stirred up a lot of stuff and did a lot of clearing. So thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all for watching. And we'll post this so other people can watch again on YouTube.
And I would like to point out that the clearing that you and the angels did right here on this live is very much what our work is. And I also invite the other moms who are walking perhaps a similar path, that their memories are not going to be the same as my memories, but maybe their emotions and their experiences and perceptions of those things will be very similar. Sue, does the clearing that you did on me have a positive effect on them?
Absolutely. Absolutely. They can be open to receive. And in fact, the work that we do with one person, with you or with anyone else, is as proxy for the collective.
Okay.
So to whatever degree everyone is ready to receive that, they will.
Yeah.
And we do have a program called Forbidden Grief. We should mention that, which we invite you to check out at forbiddengrief.org.
Yeah. And I really wanted to understand that, you know what, the way that I'm feeling right now, like I am completely present. I'm completely calm there. Now I could start crying like in a millisecond, but right now, I mean, there's just peace and calmness. And the only thing that they would need to do is just be open to receive it. And the healing and the clearing is a gift right there for them.
Yeah. Thank you. I love you.
I love you.